Hi, I'm Rico from Film Club, and I'm here today with our resident Film Club reporter, Archie.
We're very excited to be in the studio for Webcast Week, which this week is all about stories.
That's right, and as you may know, it's National Storytelling Week, so Film Club will be bringing you tales of the unexpected.
Tales to surprise and delight, and especially stories you have enjoyed reading that have been brought to the silver screen.
That's right. So keep us in the loop and tell us which stories have been inspiring you and inspiring your imagination, and what you think makes a good story.
We've got lots of ways you can keep in touch with us today. The email and Twitter address is here, and your questions will be coming in from our live hotline, so listen out for your questions for Justin.
Absolutely, all the details there will be rolling across your screen, and make sure you get your voice heard. Now, we've mentioned his name already today. We are joined by Justin.
Hello. Hi, Justin.
Hi,
Hello.
Justin.
Thank you for having me.
Now, Justin, you're one of the programmers at the BFI, the British Film Institute.
Yep.
Could you tell us a bit about your job?
Yes, so what I do is I watch lots of films. I watch a lot of films that haven't been released in the cinemas yet, and I kind of look for the best new films to show in the London Film Festival every year, because we have to have UK premieres. And then throughout the year, we also show films at BFI South Bank in London, and I programme the films for younger audiences and animation and stuff like that. And even some bit of TV. We're doing a bit of Doctor Who this year. We're doing the 50th anniversary of Doctor Who, so lots of other bits and pieces as well.
Interesting little snippet for you there, so it's not a bad life then?
No, it's great. I'm very lucky.
Good stuff. We're going to go straight to one of our voicemails, actually. So first question is coming from James.
Hi, James here from Caldecott Comprehensive School, and my question is, do you have a familiar phrase from a children's film that if someone said it, you'd exactly know right at that moment what film it was from?
Thanks, James. Yeah, so is there a famous catchphrase that you can instantly recall belonging to a character?
I don't know really. I guess you'd have to sort of use a few with me. But I reckon if there was a quiz and you were sort of going to throw a few different quotes at me, I think I'd do all right.
Go on then, Archie.
Well,
You've got one for me.
I've got one, and
I've changed my
remembered
mind.
it for a long time. I've got a couple on my wristbands, but the main one that I remember is off The Wizard of Oz, where I think.
Oh, you've given it away.
Yeah, that's great. Which one is it?
Well, it's her behind you.
Dorothy.
Dorothy, yeah.
And has she got a special catchphrase or anything? Or?
What, can you remember what it is, Justin?
She says, "Toto, I don't think we're in Kansas anymore." Yeah.
That's a very. If it had been that one, of course, I would have.
Yeah,
I think I've been saved, haven't I?
Definitely. Well, some of you eagle-eyed film clubbers out there might have spotted us down at the South Bank, as Justice mentioned, for the London Film Festival last year.
Check out the website for all the festivals and events we've been covering.
Great, so we're going to be showing you a few clips today, and these are examples of different kinds of stories that have been adapted from your favourite books to the big screen. And we're going to get straight to the first clip, which is
James and the Giant Peach. Enjoy.
Spiker, look, a peach.
A what?
A peach. There, on that branch.
Why, that old tree's never had so much as a blossom on it, let alone a... Well, I'll be blowed. There really is a peach there. A nice big one, too.
How can we get it?
The boy.
Now you be a good little boy and climb up there and get that peach for your dear aunties.
Can we eat it?
Of course we can. We'll share it. Me and your Aunt Spiker. Now start climbing.
Wait.
What? 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 It's growing. The boy?
No, the peach, you idiot.
Look. Oh, come down.
But I won't get hurt.
Climb down.
What a peach. What a peach.
Look, Spiker. It's still growing.
I'm not blind, you dolt. I can see it myself.
Spiker, look, a peach.
A what?
A peach. There, on that branch.
Why, that old tree's never had so much as a blossom on it, let alone a... Well, I'll be blowed. There really is a peach there. A nice big one, too.
How can we get it?
The boy.
Now you be a good little boy and climb up there and get that peach for your dear aunties.
Can we eat it?
Of course we can. We'll share it. Me and your Aunt Spiker. Now start climbing.
Wait.
What? 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 It's growing. The boy?
No, the peach, you idiot.
Look. Oh,
But I won't get hurt.
I'm down.
What a peach! What a peach!
Look, Spiker, it's still growing.
I'm not blind, you dolt. I can see it myself.
Okay, Pooh, so just in case you didn't get that one the first time, we thought we'd just roll the clip through again because it's a classic, isn't it?
So, Justin, what makes Roald Dahl's stories work so well on the big screen?
Well, I mean, Roald Dahl was a great writer. He's one of those writers, I think, who he really he didn't talk down to children, and he came up with these amazing ideas. And sometimes, I mean, like James and the Giant Peach, for example, in the filmmakers decided actually to kind of chicken out a little bit, because in Roald Dahl's story, for example, he kills off Aunt Spike and Aunt Sponger, he crushes them with the peach, whereas in the film, they actually send them off to America and they arrest them. But I mean, he had a very dark kind of mind, and he always had these very kind of amazing ideas, like, you know, with Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, or Mr. Fox, or the Witches. You know, they were always kind of full of really fantastic, sort of really good story at the end of the day. No matter how good the characters were, he actually really honed down and came up with a really good story that kept you wanting to watch. And I think that's why these films work so well as well, is because they've taken the story. Sometimes you have to change things for film, and that's fine, because, you know, the film isn't exactly the same as the book.
Can never be the same as
but
the book.
you know, the story is fundamentally still there.
Did you have a favourite one?
Yeah, my favourite Roald Dahl story would have to be The Witches.
Which is really good, isn't it? A bit scary as well.
Yeah, like in the movie, I don't like it where the witches are in disguise as really nice people, and then when they go into this hall for a meeting, they all change into old ladies.
That's right, he's watching them, isn't he? And it's all very scary.
Yeah. But you said you don't like it, but you do like it, really, do you?
Yeah.
That's the thing. I mean, the good thing about Roald Dahl is as well, he recognised that children like to be scared, you know. I mean, lots of adults like to say, oh, that's far too scary for my child, but he recognised, actually, we all like to be scared a little bit.
Scary cinema is always good. Brilliant. Yeah, we've got the first question coming in on the emails, haven't we? So thanks very much for that. Keep them coming in. This one is from Grundisborough School. Is that right?
Yeah.
And what was the question?
Which is your favourite book that has been turned into a film?
That's a very good question. I mean, I love The Wizard of Oz. We're going to talk about Wizard of Oz later on. I mean, in terms of like real classics, I do love Great Expectations. You know, Charles Dickens. It's a great story, and it's been made so many times into films and TV series. But way back in the 1940s, the British director David Lean made such a fantastic version of that story, and it's one of those films that works really well on its own, but it's got an amazing story running through it, and it's a book that maybe a lot of people of your age haven't read just yet, but you will do, and it's a really great classic, really enjoyable, and the film is fantastic.
Oh yeah, I'll definitely echo that, and lots of David Lean adaptations on the Film Club website as well. We've even got one of David Lean's collaborators. We've got Giles Dickens here, Oliver Twist, and there'll be lots more David Lean material coming up over the rest of the week, so keep your eyes peeled on that one.
This could be a difficult question. Grundisborough would also like to know which book was the first to be made into a film.
That's a good question, though, isn't it? I wonder what it is. I mean, I actually don't know, to be truthful. I mean, I know that in the silent era of films, right at the start of the 20th century, like 1901, 1902, there were lots of like silent films being made of Charles Dickens, loads of Charles Dickens. There were, I mean, we always think of The Wizard of Oz as being 1939, but in fact there were loads of versions of The Wizard of Oz before 1939. There's a whole lot of Wizard of Oz books. There were like lots of different stories from Oz, and there are silent versions. There's one starring Oliver Hardy from Laurel and Hardy, who some film club members may know, and he was in a very early 1920s version of Wizard of Oz. So in fact, you know, turning classic books into films has been going for a long time, way back into the silent cinema. But what the very first was, I have to be honest, I'm stumped. I couldn't tell you.
Well, we did find out about one, didn't we? That was from the 1920s, and it was a film that was 9.5 hours long.
There you go, a nice comfortable view. In that case. 9.5 hours. I mean, that's like a whole day at school and more, isn't it?
Yeah. But you've done it a couple of times, haven't you, Archie? Shown films over 3 or 4 film clubs.
Yeah.
That's one of those things you have to do. The next clip we've got is also another classic. It's a film Justin's mentioned. It's got nearly 2,000 reviews on the Film Club website. She's over there, and it's The Wizard of Oz. So roll the clip.
You said she was dead.
That was her sister, the Wicked Witch of the East. This is the Wicked Witch of the West. She's worse than the other one was. killed my sister? Who killed the Witch of the East? Was it you?
No. No, it was an accident. I didn't mean to kill anybody.
Well, my little pretty, I can cause accidents too. Aren't you forgetting the ruby slippers? The slippers. Yes, the slippers. They're gone. The ruby slippers. What have you done with them? Give them back to me or I'll... It's too late. There they are, and there they'll stay.
So, Justin, what makes The Wizard of Oz such a classic?
It is one of the all-time classic films. You know, it's 1939, and such a long time ago. But I mean, I think the excitement of going from black and white into colour. If you think about the audiences at the time watching that film, when they were so used to black and white films, and they would have seen the film starting, and then suddenly the doors open into Oz, and it's an amazing burst of colour, and those amazing creatures, and the sets, the costumes, and actually, once again, it's a really good story. It's a really good story about Dorothy and her friends who she meets along the way. They've got a purpose to get to the Emerald City, to get their wishes cast, and then obviously the whole battle. Good and evil is obviously a classic thing in storytelling. You've got Dorothy representing good, Glinda the Good Witch. You've got the Wicked Witch of the West. So if you want to have a signpost, an evil character, being called the Wicked West is a good signpost, isn't it? And when we were talking before about catchphrases from films, if only I'd thought of "I'll Get You My Pretty," which is obviously the Wicked Witch of the West talking to poor Dorothy. But one thing I don't know, did you know that talking about change from the books to the film, in the book of The Wizard of Oz, the ruby slippers weren't ruby, they were, they were silver. But obviously that wouldn't work terribly well on a film.
Wasn't as striking, maybe.
Wasn't striking enough, so they wanted the ruby slippers to look really fantastic. And in terms of the clip we've just seen, one thing that's really interesting about that is that Margaret Hamilton, who played the Wicked Witch of the West, they shot that scene twice. And the one they used was the first scene, because the second time they shot it, you see that little trap door that goes down and all the flames come up. Actually, she got quite badly burnt and had to go away for a few weeks while they kind of nursed her back to health, because she kind of had all this kind of like bronze makeup. I think there was metal in the makeup and stuff, and I think that she got a little bit burnt, unfortunately. But she came back ready to have her flying monkeys and to get her revenge on Dorothy. But a great film, great story as well.
Absolutely. You like Wizard of Oz, don't you, Archie?
Yeah, apart from the Munchkins.
You don't like the Munchkins?
No.
What is it about them?
They're just miniature, and they're dressed up like grown people, but they're that small, and they've got them really high pitch and really low voices.
Oh, you can't beat a Munchkin in my book. If Munchkin came to me and presented me with a lollipop, and I could join the Lollipop Guild, I would happily join tomorrow.
Yeah, you can't trust the Munchkin, can you? You can't really trust them. Okay. Well, we've got another film next, and we have to don these, don't we, for the next film we've got, because this is taking us into the third dimension of storytelling. It's called How to Train Your Dragon.
Come on.
Toothless. I could have sworn you had teeth. No. I don't have any more. Ugh.
Welcome back, everyone. Hopefully that's something you enjoyed in 2D as well. Justin, do you think that film works just as well in 2D as it does in 3D?
Obviously, 3D gives you an extra dimension sometimes. Well, clearly gives you an extra dimension, but sometimes it brings, visually, it can make things a bit more exciting. But in terms of the story, I think you can watch it just happily on 2D, and it doesn't really matter.
I agree. A great story, I think, can work in both dimensions well. It's another incredibly popular film on the website, and we've had one brilliant review from Paulina. Thank you very much for this review, Paulina. She tells us, she's 13, she tells us how much the characters learn from each other and grow with the film, even though it's quite short. So, you had a question, I think, didn't you, Archie?
What attracts you to this story in this film?
Well, I just think it's really interesting because I think first of all it teaches you about like not judging a book by its cover and not getting they're all completely sort of frantic about the idea that dragons are all bad and they're scared of them and when they first meet Toothless, obviously he is a bit scary and we're not too sure what to make of him, but actually he's really a very good-natured dragon when it comes down to it. And just because he might be on the surface scary and we might think that he's going to kind of sort of threaten us or whatever, actually at the end of the day he's actually quite a nice dragon, and I just think that's a really good message to come out of it. And one thing I think that's interesting, out of the four films we're talking about today, 3 of them, even though two were made in America, one was made in Japan, 3 of them are made by British writers. So there's a great kind of storytelling tradition in the UK, and we've got some of the best writers, not the best writers here. Yeah,
something we're going to talk about later, I think.
Yeah.
Archie, what was your question?
Have you read the book by Cressida Cowell?
Do you know what? I have to confess here that I haven't read that book. I've read the other 3, but I've not read the How to Train Your Dragon book, and I'm ashamed to tell you that because she's written, I think, about 12 books now, and they're already making the next film. So there is going to be a second film, but I haven't.
Oh, sorry, I will forgive you. Okay, now the next film is very close to my heart. For me, it's all about the little people that could. It's from the film Arrietty, another very popular film with film club members out there.
Roll the clip, please.
Sugars in that pot. Just wait here.
Welcome back.
Can you recommend any of the other Studio Ghibli films? I've enjoyed Princess Mononoke, but it has Archie guidance instead of PG. Howl's Moving Castle and Totoro.
those are very. So Archie guidance is because it's got a few violent moments. Is that right? Is that what it's there for?
Yeah, like executing.
Yeah, not the kind of thing. I think definitely something you need to warn people about. I love My Neighbour Totoro, which we talked about last time I was here. He's probably one of my favourite Studio Ghibli characters. But there is also, I think the great film they made is Spirited Away.
Yeah.
Which I just think is amazing, and it's just visually fantastic, and just the imagination. If you think of classic films like Wizard of Oz or Alice in Wonderland, those films where the writer really lets their imagination flow, I think Spirited Away, although it wasn't based on a book, actually is just a filmmaker at the height of their power, with just unveiling fascinating and really thrilling and interesting spectacle, really.
At our school, in the last class that I was in year 4, Miss Philbin, she let us, in film club we were watching loads of Studio Ghibli films because she really enjoys them, and we watched 6, but some of them I can't remember the names, but they're the 3 that I can.
Wow, well, Miss Philbin's got very good taste in that case. I hope she'll be watching. She'll be supporting you in that respect.
Absolutely. Well done, Miss Gibbon. That's fantastic. Well, if any of the films on today's webcast, any of the Studio Ghibli films that Archie's been talking about, or the films that Justin's been talking about have grabbed you, then there's a way you might be able to get special copies for your school because it is competition time.
Woo!
So what's the offer from Scholastic all about then, Archie? What are they actually going to give us? Well, it's a book offer, isn't it? And
yeah.
But you have to log on to review. We want you to get on and review. And there's a competition to review your favourite film adaptation of a book, and there are great prizes and special deals on some of the books that you see around you today. And please tell your film club leader, tell your English teachers all about that, and check out the film club website www.filmclub.org for all the information on our competitions. So join us again tomorrow. I hope you're going to come back tomorrow. Tomorrow we'll be chatting to some of the very talented people that are out there making animations. And tomorrow it's Robin Shaw, who worked on The Snowman. And what was the one over Christmas?
Chum the Snow Dog.
That's the one, and that's a story for another day. Thank you very much, Lee, for coming along today, Justin.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Goodbye.